Oh, welcome back to RLCS Overtime. Got done talking about North America. Now we're going to talk about Europe. It was kind of a crazy weekend, very long weekend.
Yep.
You know, have you figured out what grits are yet?
No.
No, he still doesn't know it?
No, I just know there's sausage with it.
He knows there's sausage with it. Shrimps and grits. We discovered today that shrimp has no idea
shrimp.
what grits are.
Like I said, it just sounds like shrimp, but you haven't cleaned it properly and it's got sand.
Honestly, that's not a bad.
Close enough. Yeah.
It's pretty close there. Let's look at the bracket. How things shaped up for the European regional playoffs here, guys. It was a crazy one. Had a lot of, the things went sort of as expected, but then not. Gale Force, who had a pretty rough start to league play, really showing up in a big way here at the end and going all the way, your European regional champions.
And I could not be happier for it. Gale Force started off the season, we sat there all just saying, look, Gale Force is the best team in the world right now. And then they got beat by both PSG and Method. And then there was going to be questions coming up, as there is always questions coming up. But they avenged both of those losses. They became the world or the European champions. That'll be in the future coming up. But as well, we have got ourselves Gale Force and Mocket representing Europe. They are joining Method and PSG.
I hear that. Is that a prediction? A prediction from you at this point?
I told you all. I don't make predictions. I give you spoilers.
Oh, that's a clever.
Is that?
Clever way
do you want to tell us that other spoiler that you feel so strongly about?
Do you want to remind me?
About 4 teams and them winning. Do you want to make that call right now?
Yeah, I'll call it right now. Europe is going to go 4-0 against OC or NA in the opening round.
Wow, that's cool. I wanted you to confirm that later because we're going to pull up. We'll pull up the World Championship bracket, but we'll save that for now. Right now, I just want to talk about the 4 teams from Europe who did make it here. We're talking about Method, PSG, Mocket, and Gale Force. Now, Method and PSG we knew about last week, but this week, Gale Force and Mocket are going to be pulling out the wins there in that first round to qualify, and they'll be our 4 teams representing us here at LAN.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible. The land's just stacked on top of stacked on top of stacked, but we have got our big teams coming around. And those qualification games, those were tough. There was definitely a landmine team there in the form of Flipside and Excel we knew could come out from absolutely anywhere. Niels Cook, he was getting fed shots, but just not quite enough of them. So teams are definitely playing their styles. It seems like everyone's started to settle into their groove, and Mocket as well. They are, as you guys said, they are starting to wind it up a little bit now, but when it's actually really crucial to them. It
was funny because we interviewed Neil Skok, and they had their match against Mocket. Excel had the match against Mocket in the very end of league play, and they barely won it out, and he was like, Pashy was just having a breakout performance. That's why Mocket was able to beat us. He won't possibly do it again, but he just kept going. Like, Pashy is playing better right now than I feel like he's ever played before. Mocket makes it to LAN again.
I mean, it's the situation of what Mocket does. They have a new roster. They somehow get second at every World Championship, so why is this season any different?
Yeah, I don't know how they always seem to pull things together right when it comes towards LAN, and they always have an incredible LAN run. So things are going just as you'd expect.
Like, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little weird, the whole situation with Mocket.
I'm pretty sure, I'm just thinking through it in my head here real fast, Mocket maybe is the only organization to be at every single LAN.
Well, the only now with the loss of Flipside.
Yeah, it was Flipside up until this year. So Mocket now the only team to be there every single time. Different rosters all the time, but still, the organization always able to get there. And we want to talk about who's hot moving into the LAN right now. Obviously, Gale Force is a big one here, but we're just going to go down the line. So it's a little bit less straightforward than NA, though apparently NA wasn't actually straight. I thought
you ruined it.
All NRG trade here. Yeah, okay, Shogun, who you got?
Gale Force, obviously European champions, avenging their 2 losses, looking good doing it. It's impossible for me to go against them.
I've got Mocket.
For me, it's actually Method.
Wait, Method? What? I have Gale Force, but I mean, they knocked out Flipside, the team that's always made it to LAN every time. It's like, how could you not say that they're hot right now?
I think right now, Gale Force is maybe the easy answer. Obviously, they're the European champs, and I want to talk about Mocket here for a second. These guys, they didn't lose by more than 1 point to Method, and they reverse swept PSG. The performance from these guys was crazy. Like, it was the only series we saw all weekend that made the full use of the best-of-7 format and actually had it matter here, where you saw PSG get out to the first. They won the first 3 games, and then Mocket comes all the way back to the M team here in the league. It was incredible to watch these guys play, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, for me, okay, you look at this match, right? Guess who was playing against them in that final match of the day? It was Method. Method is also the team that knocked down Mocket. So, yes, Gale Force is the one that we all predetermined as like, okay, these guys are the best in the world right now, and they're showing us that towards the end of the season. But Method is a team that, for a lot of people that forgot, they were the 3rd seed last season as Team Secrecy and didn't have the best season. Now they're starting to really settle in as, Shogun said, they're getting in their groove, they're still playing, and they're still competing and bringing this top-tier team of Gale Force all the way to 7 games. So there's still one that you can't count out. Not that you can count on anybody in Europe because everybody's so stinking good.
Yeah,
so
no, like, Gale Force, I mean, we were watching K-Dot play there while we were talking. The guy, we gave him Player of the Week. They had an absolutely monster performance. This guy was in the World Finals last year. He was the MVP of Europe last year, and here he was the Player of the Week for the regional championships. K-Dop has been on fire for 2 seasons straight now.
Yeah, K-Dop's now going to start having that problem of we just expect these performances out of him because he is a consistent. And on a Gale Force team that is always as consistent as they are, it's kind of hard to stand out. But this weekend, he certainly did. A main component on Gale Force and their victories. And if we can keep this going heading into the LAN, they're going to be very solid. They're getting more experience as well under their belts, so consistency will be there.
That save. Oh, yeah. God, that save. That save was a goal to make it 1-2, but instead they transitioned it downfield, make it 3-0. Like, just barely any difference.
Some beautiful play. I mean, we'll get to. We're going to interview Turbo Pulsa after this, so we'll get to hear a bit from Gale Force on their perspective on what's going on and how they're feeling right now.
Shorts? Do we have bets? Is he gonna?
I don't know.
Shorts?
I don't know. You know,
I think she wears shorts in the comfort of his own home.
I just
it's like naked, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's a bad image.
We'll see if he's wearing anything cool, but I'm not going to ask him about like what pants he's got on. That's it's just a little weird. You'd have to like stand up and like I don't know.
A little bit.
It's just a little bit on the strange side, but I can't get over Mocket. We called it because we had a little bit of misinformation. We were saying it was the first time we'd ever had a reverse sweep in a best of 7. Wasn't actually true. This was the second time. The first time it happened way back in season 1, and it was actually Mocket who got reverse swept at the time. So here they come back, get some revenge.
Quit. Do you know about reverse sweeps against Mocket?
I might know something about that. I think I can remember.
Well, that was a best of 5. That's a different game.
Close enough.
Yes, that was the second time that Quinn did have the second reverse sweep against Mocket in that season.
Yeah, but this game and multiple games that we saw from Mocket this weekend kind of show off the my love-hate relationship with them right now. They've got 2 styles of play. When they're in defense, I'd say they are boring to watch, and I don't think they entirely know what they are doing. They invite too much offense to come towards them. That isn't going to make the mistakes they need. But when they transition that over to offense and they allow themselves to control the midfield and pressure their opponents, Fairy Peak is a master at setups. They need to be moving there over more into offense more if they want to have a chance at the World Championships.
Well, they've got a month to prepare here to really think through everything, and we've heard, Pashy was tweeting out that like this is the best he's ever felt with a team. The synergy between these guys, between Fairy Peak, Freaky, and Pashy, this team has really fit well together. I mean, Pashy's always been a player that builds good teams around him, and he feels best about this team, about any team, and he's been to the World Finals before. He's been in that championship game, losing to Flipside in season 2. So like, he wants to finally pull it out and get the win this time.
I mean, a confident Pashy is a scary one. No one can argue that.
I think the big question here again for Mocket is, can they all pull it together at LAN and bring that performance? I mean, even last year they got to the Grand Finals, right? It wasn't Pashy, but it was a Mocket team, and you just notice that specifically with Mocket consistently, the team never really starts to come together from the day one, from their first series.
Sure.
They always kind of start off slowly and then
season.
Just at the end, just kind of come through and make a performance.
And we'll see if they can make it to that Grand Final match again for a 3rd season in a row. They've been there twice, but they've been bracket reset twice too. So you know that Mocket organization is hungry for that victory right now. Let's talk about OCE for a little bit, though. We've given out some awards, some player accolades for North America and for Europe. Their season just ended, so we can give out the awards that we have there for OCE right now. The Golden Striker, Torsos, a player we saw at LAN. They were performing in season 3. I'm sure we'll see them there again. I just can't imagine that they won't make it through in their playoffs here. But Torsos going to be our Golden Striker there from OCE. And the Savior of the Season, another award, Walcott there from Conspiracy, 2.26 saves per game, putting up monster numbers there. Noisy and Hectic rounded out the top 3. And the MVP for the OCE region, saw his name already once, 5-2 his team went. Torsos from Chiefs ESC, still one of the dynamite rosters here in
I'm actually really excited to see Shady in that top 3. He was the player that replaced Bango, I'm pretty sure, so he's like the newcomer to the team, and for him to show up as like a possible MVP pick, that's huge.
Yeah, no, they still have their playoffs to go through, so we'll get to see kind of who their top 2 teams are in a bit, but they will fill out the remainder of our World Championship bracket. We can take a look at it. We saw it earlier when we were talking about North America. Let's see it again. I want to get Shogun's thoughts in particular here. You were proclaiming that E will not lose a round in the matches we have outlined here right now. You feel confident about that?
I mean, I'll say confidently out right now. As I get closer and closer, it'll definitely be interesting to see how nervous I do get, because there are certainly games there that do make me nervous. PSG, we've seen the steam starting to go out from their train right now, and they've got Cloud9 to take on. I feel like that one is going to be very difficult for them. The other one actually is going to be Method versus NRG. That's going to be a very interesting styles clash that we've got there, because we've got a team that loves to be absolutely everywhere, and we saw a lot plant himself in the midfield against a team that really has sort of just held to the 2-1 rotational style for the longest time. So it's going to be utter chaos against a little bit more of a organized team, apart from Jacob, who just does whatever, really.
Sure, I mean, it's always difficult to strategize when you're going up against a team that has wild card players like Jacob on it here, but everything's looking good. Everything is shaping up fantastically for the World Championship. It's about a month away. Be sure to be checking out and getting your tickets to be there, and we want to see you at Washington, D.C. at the National Harbor MGM. It's going to be awesome stuff. Can't wait for that to happen. But guys, teased about it earlier. Let's talk about it. We're going to have it happen here after the break. Going to interview Turbo Pulse to get his thoughts on the regional championships and on the world championships. Stick around. It's going to be right here on Overtime.